Are you ready? It's Total Extreme Wrestling 2020, CelJaded playing Sunday, week 4 of January 2006. It is now time for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Yes, we are here at last. The first big pay-per-view of this series. Our last pay-per-view, New Year's Revolution 2006. Didn't have much time to build towards that one. It was a much smaller show, and we missed the minimum quality threshold by a single point. We needed to score a minimum of 70. We scored 69, so there is a lot riding on this one now, on the Royal Rumble, to be an improvement, but we've had more time to get our storylines in order. We've got some of our best workers back, and here, in our very first segment, it is Rob Van Dam, one of those workers we just mentioned, who returned from injury recently and is wrestling his first match back on this pay-per-view and in this very first segment. So, Rob Van Dam, he hits the ring, he says that he is ready to wrestle, and he calls out Vince McMahon to bring out his mystery opponent. So Vince McMahon, just to screw with RVD in his big return, decided to book a mystery opponent for Rob, so as to give him no time to prepare for his first opponent back. That's nice of him. Thanks, Vince. But yes, Vince has an opponent in mind for Rob Van Dam, and he is about to announce that person right now. So he grabs the mic, he takes a second to compose himself, probably lets the chants of asshole die down, and then, just when the crowd have fed him his energy, it is Vince McMahon welcoming everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you CM Punk. And CM Punk comes out on the rampway here to a stunned RVD and cuts a promo about wanting to come here personally to kick RVD's ass. So, a pretty decent debut here from CM Punk, all things considered. This is his first ever time appearing on a WWE show, and in a big way, of course, at a pay-per-view. So with not much of a popularity to speak of yet, this is a pretty good segment rating from him. So pleased with this one, and we've got all the bonuses playing into it as well. So yes, CM Punk is here. Before he was the most hated man in wrestling, he was, of course, a young upstart here in 2006, and we've brought him in ahead of schedule here to bolster our ranks. But what's important now is Rob Van Dam has his mystery opponent revealed to him, and he's going to have his hands full. So this is it, our first match for Royal Rumble 2006, one-on-one. It is the returning Rob Van Dam versus the debuting CM Punk. Let's see how it goes. Okay, not bad. Wow. And in a bout that has good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, it is Rob Van Dam getting the win over CM Punk here with a fast roll-up. So no 5-star frog splash for us this time. It is the quick roll-up, as Rob Van Dam maybe wasn't fully prepared for this whirlwind of CM Punk hitting the ring here in such strong fashion. And yeah, a really promising segment rating from these two. So good stuff for CM Punk's first night on the job, with not a high popularity compared to Rob Van Dam or other workers. That's really impressive. But of course, we do have Rob bolstering the segment rating here with an amazing performance. Him, of course, being an elite level worker, so maybe it wasn't that surprising after all. But either way, a real strong match here to start the show off. The crowd is buzzing over this one, so it certainly accomplished what it needed to. Great stuff here. But we're not quite done, because it is CM Punk now refusing RVD's show of respect after the match and walks off angry at himself. So, CM Punk, 100% the heel in this one. It is Punk cementing his heeldom here ahead of a great match by turning down RVD's handshake and storming off in very CM Punk fashion. So, CM Punk, he came here to play. He wasn't successful on this first occasion, but it was a good showing. But himself is the person that he is going to be angry at here at the moment, by the looks of it, rather than Rob himself. So great stuff from these men, but we're not quite finished, because look who it is. Triple H watching on the backstage monitor here. It is Triple H seeing Punk's debut on that monitor, watching the end of the match, watching RVD extend that hand of respect, and CM Punk turning that handshake down and walking away, going his own way, the lone wolf that he is. CM Punk and Triple H watching this the entire time. So Triple H, of course, we will be seeing later in the program in the Royal Rumble, but just a nice segment here to show him innocently watching the show. I'm sure nothing else will ever come of it. Or maybe it will. You'll just have to stay tuned to find out. So, Triple H, great stuff from him here in a very subtle segment. But what is the Cerebral Assassin planning next? I wonder. Okay, and another strong segment here as Royal Rumble continues. It is Edge and Lita. Edge, of course, our WWE Champion with his girlfriend Lita by his side. Doing a very Edge-like thing, just arguing with the boss. So Vince, we just saw, of course, has returned to his office and has found Edge and Lita waiting for him there. And Edge, of course, still arguing his case that he shouldn't be defending his title against John Cena, thinking of anything he can to get out of this match. And Vince, still the businessman, of course. He has made the match. His word is final. This is what is best for business. And speaking of what is best for business, look who it is. We've got ourselves a guest here in Vince's office, sharing a quick little bit of shade, throwing a little bit of shade Lita's way, no doubt. And it is Vince who has invited Mickie James here to his office as the world champion, as the WWE champion there argues his case. And it is Vince who has called to see Mickie James. We didn't see it on the footage, but Mickie James getting herself a victory over Gail Kim during the pre-show. A very good match at that, by the way. And it is Vince, impressed by this performance, has decided we're going to inject a little bit more intrigue into the women's title match between Ashley and Trish Stratus, of course. And we're going to do that by making you, Mickie James, the special guest referee in that match. So, huge announcement here. Mickie James will be the special guest referee in the match between Trish Stratus and her protege Ashley for the Women's Championship. So, of course, in real life, this was a little bit flipped around. It was actually Mickie James versus Ashley with Trish as the special guest referee. So we're playing an alternate universe version here, very much so, with Mickie James now the special guest referee and Trish wrestling in her stead against Ashley. So there you have it, the Women's Championship match coming up later this evening, and an added wrinkle courtesy of the CEO, Vince McMahon himself. Oh, wow. And next, it's Trish Stratus, who is arriving to the arena here in great fashion as well. Trish looking great in this segment. So Trish arrives to find her dressing room trashed. So that's not looking so good, which causes Trish to storm off in anger. So Trish arrives here at the Royal Rumble to her personal dressing room, only to find the whole place has been wrecked by some unknown third party, causing Trish to storm off. So more on this story as it develops. And we're back with Vince McMahon, a very busy man tonight, and we've got Terry Funk now outside his office, and Vince is informing Funk, seeing as Vince is having so much fun playing the booker at the moment, he is informing Funk that his match against Umaga is now a hardcore match, and that's when Umaga comes from behind and sneak attacks Terry Funk with the cheap shot, and the brawl is on. It is Terry Funk and Umaga. This is a hardcore match. It is happening now. It is underway before our very eyes as Vince McMahon looks at his handiwork here. It is Terry Funk and Umaga going at it through the backstage area. They come through to the ring and the match is on. Terry Funk, of course, sticking up for his former ECW brethren when he defended Joey Styles from Umaga's Rampage on Raw, and he is back here as well to get himself another piece of the Samoan Savage. So Terry Funk, a tough guy in his own right against this unstoppable monster Umaga. How is this going to play out? Well, not well for Terry, unfortunately, because it is Umaga getting the win over Terry Funk, and as we can see here, taking a couple of shortcuts, as Terry loves to do, takes himself a crazy bump during this match because he is Terry Funk, and you're not going to be able to talk him out of doing something stupid. So it is Umaga getting the win over Terry Funk with the flying sausage, apparently. I think this is a sign that we might need to go and tweak Umaga's finisher names in the profile section, but nonetheless, we'll just pretend that's the Samoan Spike anyway. And it is Umaga getting the win here in dominant fashion once again in a pretty decent match as well. So we're still very much developing this storyline of Umaga going on his rampage, and we're having to battle against some low segment ratings while we boost his popularity, to be expected. But Terry Funk here, despite his age, putting in a really good performance, actually pipping Umaga by a single point there, so really good stuff from him. Of course, he gets the crazy bump as well to help get Umaga over. Umaga's getting better as a gimmick, so we're all where we need to be on this particular storyline with him, so some great stuff. But of course, after the match, as we have seen in recent times now, it is Umaga continuing the beatdown after the bell, and poor Terry, despite taking a huge bump, we can only guess at what that might be, some ridiculous fall off the stage or a scaffold, you name it. It is Umaga who's picking up the lifeless body here of Terry Funk. He wants to continue to pummel him. Maybe Terry's on the stretcher about to be wheeled out and Umaga's threatening to drop a big senton on him, whatever you like. It is Umaga continuing his rampage here. But then, as Umaga beats Funk down after the bell, Mick Foley makes the save. So another former ECW talent in Mick Foley, hardcore legend himself. He's got his barbed wire bat in hand and he has warded off Umaga. And once again, it is Alejandro Estrada there jumping in to make sure Umaga doesn't get involved, doesn't get a piece of that barbed wire bat. Estrada protecting his investment. They've destroyed Funk. They made their point, and Umaga is gonna fight another day here. So Mick Foley coming to the aid of his best friend and his former ECW stablemate as well, Terry Funk. And yeah, it seems that this issue with Umaga and the former ECW talent is far from over, because Mick Foley, one of their biggest stars, has just shown up, and perhaps as well shown up Umaga at the same time. So you can bet this is not going to go down well with Estrada. It's not going to go down well with Umaga himself. But overall, great to see Mick Foley here at the Royal Rumble. This story will continue. Just watch this space. Okay, and next it is the World Heavyweight Champion Batista, who arrives at the arena stepping out of his limo or his posh car, whatever you want. But then John Cena also arrives ahead of his scheduled match, of course, with Edge. And it is now Batista and John Cena here, like two passing ships in the night, stare each other down. No words between these two men yet, just a little tease of something, of things that might be yet to come on this save. Who knows? But a nice little tease here for the fans, and a great segment rating from these two guys, as to be expected. Okay, next, and we return here with an irate Trish Stratus accusing Mickey yet again, with Ashley standing up to Trish before leaving. So, the story here, Trish Stratus, of course, arrives to the arena to find her dressing room has been trashed. The last time Trish arrived backstage, she found Jacqueline laid out in the backstage area, victim of a sneak attack. And in that case, Trish Stratus accused Mickie James, and in this case as well, Trish now accusing Mickie James for trashing her locker room. Only Mickie James would have had the motive to do this, after Trish, of course, let her down recently and, again, for the lack of a better word, broke up her friendship with Mickie, demanding space from her. Trish is irate, she's full of emotion here, blaming Mickie. But Mickie is denying everything. Mickie said she knows nothing about what happened to Trish. She would never do something like that to her. And that's when Ashley, Trish's protege and a friend, of course, stands up for Mickie here. Gets in between the two, gets in Trish's face, and tells her to leave Mickie James alone, basically. That's what's happening here. So Mickie James, of course, and Ashley have been friendly recently. Mickie James doing what she can to help Ashley. It was Mickie James that helped Ashley get this title shot against her mentor Trish in the first place, and now there's more tension teased backstage here with Trish Stratus and Ashley once again getting into a disagreement. These two, their friendship on shaky ground yet again. So it is Ashley leaving the scene here because the match is coming up right now. It is Trish Stratus, the teacher, versus the student, Ashley. And it will be Mickie James, as we learned earlier. You can probably see her here in a referee outfit. I can only imagine how smashing that looks in this time frame. But nonetheless, it is Trish Stratus versus Ashley for the Women's Championship with Mickie James as the referee. It is coming up. And there it is. So in a decent match, Trish Stratus defeats Ashley in 12 minutes by pinfall with the Stratus faction, making this Trish's number 2 defense, successful defense of the WWE Women's title. And wow, 56 may not seem like much, but considering how inexperienced Ashley is and how little time she has had in her career up to this point, this is an impressive segment rating, to be sure. A decent match here involving Ashley, almost unheard of. And yeah, okay, we can see from the bonuses here that there were a few shortcuts we took. We did use the overbooking note for this one, and the main reason for that is that we do have Mickie James as the referee, so we are treating this as more of a storytelling match. They've got a little bit more time than you would expect for a match of this kind, so we're really playing up all the overbooking stuff here. We're doing a lot of stalling as Ashley and Trish get into multiple arguments. It is Trish having to separate, Mickie having to separate the two when they become too animated at each other. You name it, just all the little shortcuts we can think of, and it seems to have paid off because it certainly helped Ashley with her performance in this match, and it's got us to a pretty decent segment rating as well. So I'm actually really pleased about this one. You can see down here that we've got a couple of penalties that we had to put up with for this match. Chief among them, of course, is Ashley being inexperienced. That's quite a bad one. And the fact that this is a babyface versus babyface match as well. We do have the element of drama there factoring in, but of course the video game is only going to recognise the bare facts here, which is a babyface versus babyface match, which is harder to make a good match in the first place, just, you know, the way wrestling is. So, and the one other thing as well is that you may have to excuse my inexperience with the game here because I have not played this for very long. I could not find out a way to make Mickie James the special guest referee in this. I just don't know where that option is, if it exists. I couldn't set Mickie to be a referee in the files because she's not contracted to be a referee, so we just had to put a note to say that Mickie James was at ringside for this one, so we'll just have to pretend that Mickie James was the special guest referee, and yeah, there you have it. It is Trish Stratus getting the win nonetheless, and then after the match, it is Mickie enthusiastically raising Trish's hand, and then things get tense when Trish pulls away. So, Mickie James, the referee there, doing what the referee does, raising Trish's hands, but maybe doing it a little bit more enthusiastically than Trish would have liked. We know what Mickie James is like, after all. And it is Trish there, pulling away, clearly harbouring some ill feelings still towards Mickie James for everything that's gone down between them. But before we can explore this anymore, we've just got a quick wrap-up segment here, where it is Trish, who now turns to Ashley, offers her the sign of respect for a good match, and Ashley accepts. So there you have it. There's a little bit of a blow-off for you. It is Ashley who hugs Trish, forgives her for everything that happened earlier, and they're on the same page again. As Trish exits the ring, Ashley also hugs Mickie James, which we've seen before, and just like last time, Mickie James has got that distant look in her eyes as Ashley's head is turned, and Mickie only can look at Trish as she retreats up the rampway, title in hand. She is the victor here at Royal Rumble, but Mickie James still has other things on her mind. So, great performance from the women here at the Royal Rumble. Really, really good stuff. I'm very pleased with how the story is going so far. And yeah, we'll pick this up next time when we return to Monday Night Raw. So, As we said, great stuff. Okay, so next it is Batista and Mark Henry who are shown walking to the ring for their title match. So 2 little snippets here, classic snippets of course. Batista on his way to the ring, belt around his waist, and the fearsome Mark Henry here, ready to do battle against the man Batista, who he earned a title shot against after defeating Bobby Lashley on SmackDown. So this is it, the big showdown here at the Royal Rumble for the World Heavyweight Championship. That is the SmackDown brand's title, of course, and it's coming up now. Okay, so we've got a bout with fantastic heat and good wrestling, good to hear, and it is Batista getting the win over Mark Henry by pinfall with the Batista bomb. I can only assume some second rope shenanigans were involved there. But yes, it's a distraction from Bobby Lashley here that allows Batista just to get a little bit of an edge in this match over Mark Henry perhaps. And that is defense number 2 of his World Heavyweight title here. So Bobby Lashley not interfering in the match, but just a quick distraction to pay Mark Henry back for that distraction that, of course, cost Bobby Lashley the title shot on SmackDown. So, Bobby Lashley still has a score to settle with Mark Henry by the looks of it, and got himself a little measure of revenge here against the world's strongest man. And all it took was a second for Mark to take his eye off the ball, and there you have it. Batista retains the title here. So this was our storytelling match of the evening. You always need one on the Ruthless Aggression package, so we decided to go with this one. And yeah, it does seem like we had a lack of psychology. That's just because of the workers involved. Sometimes with a high-profile match like this, it was a bit of a struggle with someone with low psychology rating. Definitely penalised our segment quite heavily here, for psychology, so that's a tough one. But, the performers were holding back as well because this was a storytelling match. We've got the Bobby Lashley distraction in there. We've got Mark Henry overpowering Batista, I'm sure, with a few power spots. And, just a nice storytelling match. So, not a blow-away match by any means, but certainly a good showing here for the SmackDown brand nonetheless. And still seeds being sown story-wise that we can pick up on our next episode of television featuring the SmackDown roster. So overall, not a blow-away match by any means, but good stuff nonetheless. But wait, there's more. Because Batista is celebrating his huge win when Randy Orton hits an RKO out of nowhere on poor Dave. So Batista, after just being through a grueling match with Mark Henry, eking out the win with the Batista bomb there, presumably off the second rope, Randy Orton comes in. He's been lying in wait for the one moment where Batista had his back turned, and Randy Orton seizes the day, takes his moment and strikes, hitting a massive OKR, laying out Batista and embarrassing him here on pay-per-view. So it has finally happened. The war of words between Batista and Randy Orton has now turned into a physical war, as Randy Orton here gets the RKO on Dave, and you can bet after Batista quickly revives after that RKO in sports entertainment fashion that he is looking up at that rampway with a glare on his face, and you would not want to be Randy Orton right now, with Batista giving you a stare like that. So good stuff from these guys, and I'm sure we'll pick it up again on SmackDown when we come back to this brand and this storyline. Okay, switching gears here. We've got Shane McMahon, who thanks Melina, Nitro, and Mercury for their help, of course, on SmackDown last time we saw them, and also says that the Mexicals have been kicked out of the Royal Rumble match. So Shane McMahon, of course, our authority figure on SmackDown, already putting the screws to the babyfaces, going full heel now by kicking the Mexicals, Psicosis, Juventud Guerrera, Super Crazy, and by extension Shelly Martinez as well, kicking the entire stable out of the Royal Rumble match. So Shane really playing political games here with the Mexicals, and Eminem, of course, will be involved in the Royal Rumble match as well. So Shane McMahon kind of buddying up with his fellow heels here. But coming up next, it is not Shane McMahon in action, but Melina herself, because it is Melina versus Akira Hokuto, as our second women's match of the evening is just about to get underway. So here we go, Melina versus Akira. But you didn't think it was going to be that simple, did you? Because Akira heads out to the ring only to get ambushed by Aja Kong. Wow. Haven't seen her in at least a decade on this show. But Melina, she came prepared for this one. She knew she didn't have a chance against Akira in a fair fight. So as Akira is making her way to the ring, remember Akira said she was going to lead by example. She wasn't going to bring her stable of allies out here. She did good by her word. But as she comes down the rampway, out of nowhere, the monster heel herself, Aja Kong, a woman who Akira, I would imagine, has extensive history with wrestling in Japan. I'm sure these two would have crossed paths. It's inevitable. And Aja Kong lays out Akira on the rampway, absolutely destroys her up and down the ring. You've got officials trying to contain the situation, but no one can contain Kong. And eventually, after Akira takes a hell of a beating here, it is Aja Kong who rolls her in the ring, presumably on the same page here with Melina, and Melina's looking very happy with this development now. As the ref's checking with Akira, are you sure you want to go ahead with the match? She's nodding. The match is on. It is Melina versus Akira Hokuto here. But yeah, things don't look good for our Japanese babyface, because there it is. So in a bout that had decent wrestling, good to hear, but not much heat, probably as to be expected. It is Melina who defeats Akira Hokuto in 7:24 by pinfall here. So what an upset this turned into. Akira has been devastated by the monster heel Aja Kong, and Melina has gotten the win here at the Royal Rumble. So it took 7 minutes 24 to do it, so Akira still had some fight in her, but ultimately Melina was able to prevail here. The injuries that Akira sustained in the pre-match segment there were just too much, and poor Akira has fallen here to Melina. So there's a couple of things to unpack with this one, which has affected the rating in a way that I was not prepared for, and I'm certainly not pleased about. But, I am new to this game. It's a learning experience. So number one here, of course, you can see it in red. The crowd were not happy with a match here between two workers with the unimportant label. So you need at least one person that has closer to a star rating, at least recognizable by the fans in order to not reject the match. Now, Melina was a recognizable star ahead of this feud, so somewhere along the line her popularity is dipped, and I just didn't realize it, and the game doesn't do a very good job of highlighting this for you, unfortunately. You've just kind of, I assume, got to keep checking. I wasn't even sure if it updated in a live way or whether it happened at the end of every month. Again, I'm just inexperienced with this thing. Somewhere along the line, even though I thought I did my due diligence and did my best to make sure Melina wasn't put in any overly compromising positions that might affect her popularity, it seems I screwed up somewhere because her popularity has dipped. Or alternatively, which is also could be the case, maybe I just made a mistake and Melina was never a recognizable popularity, but I'm pretty sure we would have suffered some penalties for earlier matches if that was the case. And yeah, we've definitely suffered a penalty here, which has really hampered this segment rating, which is unfortunate because both women here put in a really good performance. And that was the idea I had by hiring Akira and women like her from Japan in the first place, is that they are very skilled women's wrestlers. Even though they're not super popular in the States, they do have the ability to hopefully get themselves over in the ring. But yeah, on this occasion, it seems to have worked against me just because of this huge gaffe that I seem to have made. And we've also got penalties, of course, with Melina being inexperienced and a few things like that as well, which surely didn't help. So overall, a little bit of a disappointment here on this one. The fact that we're getting this warning here may cause me to rethink this feud a little bit and how we structure it. I'm certainly happy with Akira as a part-time worker here. She is definitely the kind of talent that we need to step in the ring to help get our younger talent some experience. And Melina, for her part, has put in a decent performance as well. So she's definitely got the capabilities to put on a good match here. She just needs some time in the ring with a veteran that can kind of contribute psychology to the match and all the rest of it. But yeah, on this occasion, if we don't have someone that has that popularity rating, it may be a struggle to continue this storyline any further. And yeah, again, down to my inexperience, there's a few other things. TEW 2020 has a language barrier system of all things I didn't even know about. So Akira, she's not fluent in English. She knows basic English, and there's like different levels of language knowledge for each worker in the game. So just like so overly complex at times, this game. All these little systems and little things that you have to remember. It is very overwhelming. So yeah, it might sound like an excuse, maybe it is, but either way, a lot to learn for next time. This one definitely disappointed in terms of the overall segment rating. Nothing to do with the workers involved there. They definitely did a good job. Just some bad booking there may have hurt this one a little bit more than anticipated. But just to wrap it up, we've got a bonus segment here with Melina posing behind Aja Kong on the rampway now, as Kong is kind of standing there admiring her handiwork, in cahoots with Melina. Vicky Guerrero comes out, of course. Maybe she was the mastermind behind this little team up. And yeah, these heel women on the rampway are very pleased with themselves as the lone Akira here, who promised that she'd come out here alone, of course, revives in the ring finally with an angry scowl on her face. So decent segment there just to close things up. But where we leave it, it is Melina getting the shock upset win over Akira Hokuto here in a very convincing fashion, but very much has to pay Aja Kong the dues of respect for that one. So there you have it. Okay, wow. Wow, yes, indeed. Well, this looks like a video package for the ages. This was just meant to be a quick segment for me to introduce the John Cena and Edge feud, but wow, yeah, it's a good one. So, yeah, I hope I've got everyone's attention now. It is a video package recapping the feud between John Cena and Edge, and we should all know the story by this point. It is Edge who, in Cena's words, stole the WWE Championship from him with a mid-match cash-in using the Money in the Bank briefcase. Edge became the champion. He's been ducking Cena ever since, doing everything he can to not wrestle this man, John Cena. Whatever he can do, he has done it. He has been part in tag matches. He's lobbied to the boss. He's been escaping in cars. Every excuse in the book you can think of, Edge has been trying to get out of this match with John Cena. But John Cena is irrepressible. He's winning his matches. He's selling the merchandise. He is a huge star. He will not be denied. He wants that rematch, and finally, he has got it. This is it. Edge and John Cena for the WWE Championship. So, we know how this went in real life. It was Edge tapping out to John Cena's STFU to give the title back to Cena. Will it happen again? Let's find out, because the match is coming up right now. But before we get there, we're going to handle things a little bit differently on this one for such a huge match. So a quick segment describing the action that's going down here. Edge is down. Cena's hit a big move. Cena's in control. Edge is down in the ring. So Lita, in an act of desperation, hits the referee from behind. Lita has decked the referee. Cena's going for the cover, and there is no count coming. The ref is down. So Cena gets up. He goes to check on the ref to find out what's happened. Lita slides Edge a steel chair, and that's when Edge smashes Cena from behind with the steel chair. Lita's got the second chair. It's now under John's head. You know what's coming. This is Edge. We saw it on Raw before. He is readying a concerto. So Edge is going to slam Cena's head into this steel chair one more time. And if Edge has one way of guaranteeing a victory in this match, it is with this very maneuver. If he hits this illegal move right now, he is going to retain the championship, because Cena is no way getting up after this. We've seen it before, and we will see it again most likely if the Rated R superstar gets his way. So this is it. Everything hinges on this one moment of Edge hitting the huge illegal move here to take the victory into his hands. But Kurt Angle makes the save. Of course, Kurt Angle, the victim of this attack himself. He has returned, looking a little bit worse for wear, but he makes the save here, leaps into the ring. He hits Edge with the Angle Slam. Edge is down. Cena has revived. He doesn't know what's going on. He got hit from behind, but he is up. Edge is recovering as well now after the Angle Slam, and it is Cena who hits a huge FU. This is it. Cena is back. He has hit his big finisher, and it is Edge getting the win over John Cena when the referee revives just in time to see Angle interfering in the match and hitting Edge with the Angle Slam. So Cena goes for the cover and the bell rings, but not because of a 3 count, because the referee has ruled in Edge's favour. Edge is the winner. Edge retains his title via DQ in the main event of the Royal Rumble, and that is defense number 2, technically speaking, of the WWE title for him. So, although Angle came in to make the save for Cena and saved him from taking a skull bashing with that steel chair and losing the match for sure, unfortunately, the referee revived just in time to see it go down, and Edge has been declared the winner by outside interference, tearing the hearts of everyone in the arena, I'm sure, after such a long and competitive and great match by the looks of it. And yeah, I know it's a sin, it's a DQ finish, but sometimes, in the name of a story, you've just got to do these things. And well, our segment rating will survive, John Cena will survive, and Edge certainly has survived as the WWE Champion for now. Cena taken to the edge on this occasion, or almost very nearly. But don't worry, we're not going to send the fans home that bummed out, because now it's Kurt Angle, who's still out there on the outside. Edge hasn't seen him. Edge is backing up with the title. He feels great. He's got the title in hand. He's finally done it. He's escaped. When he backs into Angle, and for a little bit more revenge for the Concerto, it is Angle throwing Edge back into the ring, and Cena hits one more FU just to get a little bit of revenge on this piece of work Edge that has somehow escaped with the title again. So Cena's music hits. It is Cena standing tall, maybe a nod of respect to Angle. He understood that, even if it cost him the match, it saved him from the Concerto. And there you have it. John Cena stands tall, not as the champion, but as a red-hot superstar in his own right. And when we return, we'll have to see what Edge has to say for himself as the winner here in the main event for the Raw brand on the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So, good stuff from everyone involved. A shame it had to go down the way it did, but, do you want to have a great match, or do you want to draw some money? On this case, I'd rather draw some money, and the money is in the story, of course. So, good stuff, again, from everyone involved. Great stuff here. Okay, so just a little bit of a cool off now before we get to our main event, of course, the Royal Rumble match itself. It is Hulk Hogan who drops in through a 3-way stare down with Jerry Lawler and Roddy Piper. So 3 members of the old guard here in a very tense standoff. What's going to happen with Hulk Hogan and his old rival Roddy Piper and his new buddy, apparently, Jerry Lawler. And there you have it. It is Hogan in a 3-way stare down with Roddy Piper and Lawler. But then eventually Hulk cracks. He shakes their hand and he wishes them both luck in the Royal Rumble match, which is coming up next. So nice little segment here with these 3 legends on screen just ahead while we prepare the ring for the Royal Rumble itself. And seeing as this is such a big match and such a big event with the whole pay-per-view named after it, of course, we're going to do things a little bit differently on this one. So I'm going to cut away and show you a presentation of the full Royal Rumble match as I've booked it, a visual presentation using the portraits to illustrate who is in which number, when they get eliminated, and tell the full story as I have it in my head for the Royal Rumble. We are booking for this save. And then once we've done that, we'll come back to this screen, we'll hit next segment, we'll hit the next segment button, and we'll find out how the overall rating turned out for the match that we had booked. So, yes, on the next screen, you're about to see the beginning of the Royal Rumble, and then as I said, when we come back, we'll find out the ratings. So, next is the Royal Rumble match. Get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Royal Rumble match. So let's find out who drew numbers 1 and 2. Out first, it's the Street Fighter himself, William Regal. Been riding the high of a fresh gimmick recently as more of a tough guy character. And he is entering here at the worst position, or the best position, depending on how you look at it. More people to beat up from number 1, of course. Maybe Regal actually quite likes that. And then next at number 2, it is Brian Kendrick, one half of the Hooligans tag team. And it will be Regal and Brian Kendrick starting off this match together here. But I'm just going to be quite short about this. This is not a good thing for Brian Kendrick because he pretty much gets the crap kicked out of him right away. And yep, you see the E, it stands for eliminated. Regal has dumped Kendrick already. Just as number 3 is about to make their entrance, Kendrick is gone. So Regal is not playing around here. He is taking it to these youngsters, beating some respect into them, just as he said he was going to do. And yeah, starts off very strong here as the Royal Rumble gets started. But in any event, number 3 is out next, and it is Chavo Guerrero, who had a mini feud with Regal on TV recently. So an opportunity here for them to rekindle their aggression against each other. Following Chavo Guerrero is Joey Mercury, one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions. And he comes in, followed by the Nature Boy, Ric Flair himself. Not the earliest he has entered a Royal Rumble by any means, but certainly going to be a tall order for him in at number 5. And then followed swiftly on by Paul Burchill as the ring starts to fill up with guys now. And Paul Burchill, of course, accompanied by his manager, Dawn Marie, as well. And then entering next at number 7, it is Jamie Noble, the man who has allied himself with Kid Cash and Shane McMahon in recent weeks on SmackDown. And then, to really add some star power to the match, to a chorus of boos, this man enters. It is, of course, the legend killer Randy Orton, who we saw earlier in the show when he attacked Dave Bautista, and he is looking very confident here as he walks out to enter the Royal Rumble. Then, next up, we have the other half of the Hooligans tag team, that being Paul London, and we've really got a full ring of guys now in full swing, all competing for position, all trying to eliminate each other. And that is when we get an uninvited guest at ringside, uninvited at least as far as Jamie Noble is concerned, because he is distracted by none other than Shelly Martinez, and right behind her, of course, is her Mexical's stablemate Psychosis. And we all know that Noble loves a trashy broad, and Shelly Martinez more than happy to play up that side of her character if it means distracting Noble. And she does a pretty good job of it because a drop kick from Paul London and a low bridge from Psychosis on the apron is all it takes to eliminate Jamie Noble from the Royal Rumble. So the Mexicals here getting involved in Shane McMahon's business, eliminating Shane's boy Jamie Noble, of course. We'll have to see what happens with Shane when he learns this information. He is not going to be best pleased. And then coming out next is Rey Mysterio, huge star on SmackDown, getting talented match out of everyone he works with at the moment. So high hopes for him here as he enters the Royal Rumble. And then following him is none other than Gregory Helms. Here he comes, Raw superstar Gregory Helms. And of course, the minute he gets in the ring, He's right in Flair's face. And it is Flair, for his part here, the dirtiest player in the game, who manages to convince Helms that they should work together here. They should work together, eliminate some of the competition, and then make things better for themselves. And of course, ever the lovable, naive heel that Helms is, he agrees with Flair, and these two form a little makeshift alliance here. But it actually bears fruit. It bears fruit because a quick cheap shot from Flair and a clothesline from Gregory Helms, and it is Chavo who is eliminated from the Royal Rumble. So Greg Helms and Ric Flair on the same page. It seems to be clicking here. So good stuff from them two. And then entering next is Kid Cash, Jamie Noble's partner, another fellow ally of Shane. And just as before, we've got some uninvited guests because, of course, as soon as one of Shane's allies hits the ring, it's the other half of the Mexicals, Super Crazy and Juventud Guerrera. Remember, all of the Mexicals were kicked out of the Royal Rumble match by Shane McMahon, who kind of exercised his clout to get rid of them. But yes, here they are nonetheless at ringside, distracting Kid Cash, which allows Ric Flair now to get the advantage on Kid Cash and actually dump him out for the elimination. So Ric Flair eliminates Kid Cash, and you can bet that Shane McMahon is going to be absolutely livid at this situation when he finds out the very men and lady that he banned from being anywhere near the Royal Rumble have actually showed up and cost his two men the win. So I would hate to think what is going through Shane McMahon's mind right now. But one person who I would like to know what's going through his mind is Bobby Lashley, who hits the ring in huge fashion. So Bobby Lashley comes in. We did see him briefly earlier in the program, of course, and he is a house of fire. Out goes Joey Mercury. Out goes Paul Burchill. Bobby Lashley already with 2 eliminations under his belt, making his presence felt here as he enters the Royal Rumble match in explosive fashion. Then, entering next, it is, surprise, the Japanese buzzsaw Tajiri, who returns to the WWE here as a little mid-card pickup that we made, and the perfect place to debut him as a surprise. Every Royal Rumble needs one, and here he is, Tajiri, making his welcome return to the WWE. Welcome back, Tajiri. Then, following closely behind is Roddy Piper, of course, in a really great promo recently, called his shot, saying that he wanted to wrestle in the Royal Rumble one last time, and here he is. A great promo that was as well, so go back and check out previous episodes of Raw if you missed that. And then out next, as the field starts to collect more and more bodies, it is one half of the World Tag Team Champions, Kane, awaiting his rival, The Big Show, no doubt, but hitting the ring in explosive fashion as well, laying out a bunch of guys we can bet. And then we got a spot in the match where it is Tajiri, who we just saw enter, who extends the hand of friendship towards William Regal. Of course, these two have a lot of history in WWE, on television at least, and it is William Regal here, being presented with the offer of friendship from one of his old allies, Tajiri. So can you guess what happens next? Well, if you guessed Tajiri gets decked by Regal and chucked out, you would have been right. And just establishes the fact that Regal is not feeling any pangs of nostalgia here whatsoever in his new character, and unceremoniously dumps Tajiri. So a short night for him, unfortunately. But out next, we have SmackDown's own Matt Hardy, and followed shortly after Raw superstar Carlito as well. Now, with Matt Hardy in the ring, it's at this point that we have another unexpected guest at ringside. You can probably guess who that is. It is, of course, the in kayfabe at least, unnamed strange woman that seems to have been loitering around Matt Hardy. And while she does not say anything to him here, and while she does not do anything or get involved in the Royal Rumble match in any way, her mere presence at ringside is all it takes to throw Matt Hardy completely off his game. Hardy's yelling obscenities at her. He wants her out of there. And unfortunately, that leads to a situation where Bobby Lashley comes up from behind and he dumps Matt Hardy. Yes, they are two baby faces, but remember, it's the Royal Rumble match. There are no friends in a Royal Rumble. Lol. Matt Hardy is gone, and that means we are on to our next entrant, and that is The Undertaker himself. So the gong sounds, the action pauses in the ring for a moment while the dead man makes his entrance. Remember, he shared with us a vision recently that he had of winning the Royal Rumble, and he is here now to make his presence felt. And the first thing he does upon entering the ring is grab Paul London by the throat. But no, he doesn't eliminate him like you might expect. He instead throws Paul London over to William Regal, who eliminates Paul London himself. So Undertaker here offering William Regal the the corpse, let's say, of the young superstar Paul London. So interesting exchange here. Undertaker, of course, moves in mysterious ways. We'll just have to find out what was going through his head on this occasion. But in any event, Paul London is gone, and that means our next entrant is due to come out, and that is Johnny Nitro, the other half of the WWE Tag Team Champions. We saw Joey Mercury, his ally, earlier, of course, get eliminated, so no easy alliance for Nitro on this occasion. And it is at this point that Ric Flair gets involved with a member, with a worker at ringside himself, and you can probably guess who that would be, can't you? So Ric Flair seems to have his eye on someone outside the ring. And of course, it's Gregory Helms' manager, the lovely Francine out there that Flair just loves to flirt with, as we've seen recently on Raw. And it is Helms absolutely incensed by this. And it is a Helms coming through here as he dumps Ric Flair with a vengeance here. He is extremely upset about Ric Flair, even so much looking at Francine. You get your own manager, Flair, says Helms. And Flair, realizing his mistake here, realizing his error, thinks, you know what, screw it. And he's closer to Francine by being outside the ring, so now he can really get his flirt on. And that just makes Helms even angrier, of course. And Helms there, kind of on the apron now, pointing the finger at Flair and getting upset, as the high-strung Helms always does. And it is Rey Mysterio coming up from behind, and it is the drop kick that sends Helms to the floor in comedic fashion. He can't believe it. He's been eliminated. He's blaming Flair. Flair's got a big smile on his face, and Francine's just rolling her eyes at this whole thing. As usual, great comedy from these guys. And yes, that is the end of their little drama for now anyway. But moving on, it is Finlay making his appearance in the Royal Rumble. And unfortunately for him, it's going to be a short one because, it's a Royal Rumble. One of the tropes is there has to be someone who gets eliminated really quickly. And on this occasion, it is Finlay, who we know likes to fight. We've seen the evidence of it on SmackDown. Immediately goes after the biggest dog in the yard, The Undertaker. And let's just say that didn't go well for him, as Undertaker immediately tosses Finlay out. But hey, no shame in getting tossed by The Undertaker, I'm sure. And then, out next at number 22 now, it is Booker T, who called his shot recently as well, as he laid out Shawn Michaels on a previous episode of Raw. The two had a very hot match an episode later. And it was Booker, unfortunately, in a losing effort in that match, but in a very contested fashion. So Booker T here looking to generate some momentum in the Royal Rumble match, and here he is to do it. And then following on from that, it is The Wrestling Machine, Kurt Angle, who hits the ring. We saw him earlier, of course, making his presence felt in the match between John Cena and Edge, and here he is now making his Royal Rumble appearance. And it is around this time now that a rather exhausted, we should say, William Regal, who's been in the ring now, been in this match for a very long time, gets into it with Roddy Piper. And it is Roddy Piper with a right hand for the ages here. As we said, on the exhausted Regal, he's been in there since number 1. A hellacious right hand from Roddy Piper. Regal goes sailing over the top rope. He is out of there. Would you believe it? It's Roddy Piper who has just eliminated William Regal. So certainly no shame for Regal here. Look at the amount of time that he lasted, all the way up to number 23, that is there. So an absolutely incredible performance from him. But either way, this leads us to our next entrant, and it is The Big Show, the other half, of course, of the World Tag Team Champions, alongside Kane. And it is at this point that these two immediately kind of tagging hands, ready to form their big alliance. And the first thing they do is go straight after Roddy Piper, who just made that previous elimination, of course. And it is Piper now having to contend with the Big Show and Kane, and that does not last long before it's a big headbutt from Big Show and then a big clothesline from Kane. And oh, let's just correct that. There we go. It is Roddy Piper, unfortunately, getting eliminated by Kane. But we might as well have left that on the screen, actually, because Kane is also eliminated by his own brother, The Undertaker. So the other talent in the ring, they see what's happening, and they're quick to take action here. They don't want Kane and the Big Show getting into cahoots here and making life very difficult for everyone else. So it's Undertaker springing into action and getting rid of his own brother. And then from behind, would you believe this, Bobby Lashley, all on his own, dumps the Big Show completely single-handedly in an incredible show of strength. Lashley has just upset the Big Show. How many eliminations is that for him now? Must be the leader in terms of eliminations. Lashley, hell of a job. But unfortunately for Lashley, we've got another unexpected guest here in the Royal Rumble, and you can probably guess who it's going to be the way I say that, because yes, it is the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. We saw Lashley getting involved in Henry's match earlier, arguably costing him the title against Dave Bautista. And yeah, Mark Henry is not happy at all. The officials, the referees at ringside, they can't do a thing to hold this monster back. Mark Henry, he enters the match illegally, picks Lashley up, world's strongest slam. Mark Henry has just destroyed Lashley in the middle of the Royal Rumble match, and Mark Henry leaves very proud of his handiwork, getting a measure of revenge over Bobby Lashley. And it is Mark Henry's ally, not the Viper in this case, it is the Vulture, Randy Orton, who picks up the carcass of Lashley after Mark Henry has just slammed him into oblivion, and Lashley is gone. Randy Orton has just eliminated a big member of the opposition there in Bobby Lashley. So yeah, Randy Orton now taking his shot where he can. But we've got our next entrant into the match to worry about next, and coming into the ring, it is none other than the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and he is running to the ring, and you know exactly who he's going to get into the moment he enters. And of course, it is Booker T. And it is HBK and Booker T now in a brawl for the ages here, just going at it completely. And it is around this time that Undertaker now starts to get into some difficulty, as he has become a target of Carlito and Johnny Nitro and such. And everybody's kind of double teaming the Undertaker now, recognizing him as one of the biggest threats in the ring. And who would it be that actually eliminates the Undertaker but Rey Mysterio with a high cross body here. Well, the Undertaker's kind of in distress. It is a high cross body. Undertaker doing his patented backflip over the top rope. And he hits the floor, and Undertaker can't believe it, but it is Rey Mysterio, red hot here, eliminating the Undertaker. Something you thought you would never see, but there it is. And so we've still got Shawn Michaels and Booker T fighting at this point, of course. Their brawl is reaching a fever pitch at this point, and it is a super kick here out of nowhere, and Booker T is gone. He gets caught with the sweet chin music. He is outside the ring. He has been eliminated, and he is furious that HBK has stolen the show from him yet again. So Booker tries to get back in the ring. The referees are having none of it this time. Booker T has just been eliminated, and Shawn Michaels, you can bet, is only just getting started when it comes to Booker T. Anyway, entering the ring next, we have the King, Jerry Lawler, who called his shot as well, of course, wanted to go to WrestleMania. Vince McMahon said he had to win the Royal Rumble, and that was just fine with Jerry. So here he is, taking up the challenge, and he is a house of fire here as he runs into the ring, and in short order, he was with the right hands and the clothesline, and he has just dumped Johnny Nitro out of nowhere, out of the ring. And considering the star power in that ring, Johnny Nitro had a really good run here in the Royal Rumble, so good stuff from him. But moving swiftly on, it is the equally swift Shelton Benjamin running down to the ring to make his entrance at number 27. And then it is Kurt Angle now ducking a clothesline from Carlito. And Carlito on the receiving end of a clothesline from Kurt Angle. And Carlito is gone. Kurt Angle has just eliminated Carlito with a retaliation of his own. And as Carlito hits the ground out there, who is it but his on again, off again partner in crime, Chris Masters, who kind of helps him up. And no doubt the two are getting involved in another argument here over Chris Masters being a little bit late to the party. Well, not that he really had much control over it, but there you have it. And then next, into the match, as the remaining men now doing everything they can to try and get each other out of the ring. It is John Bradshaw Layfield, JBL, the money man, of course, hitting the ring here to kind of level out our field a little bit. And then we have Jerry Lawler kind of getting fired up here, and he actually manages to eliminate Chris Masters, so a short night for him. But unfortunately, as he is doing that, Jerry Lawler gets sniped by Randy Orton. The Legend Killer has struck again. Jerry Lawler has gone over the top rope, and his hopes of going to WrestleMania seemingly just go up in smoke as well. So Jerry is crestfallen. He's just been eliminated, and yeah, it's not looking like there's any easy path to WrestleMania, such as it is for Jerry Lawler, unfortunately. So yeah, Jerry not looking too happy here, very disappointed in himself as he gets chucked out of the ring and eliminated from the Royal Rumble. It is at this point that Shawn Michaels and Shelton Benjamin have been having a very athletic contest in the corner, but it is another sweet chin music. And that is Shelton Benjamin now having to face the music as he gets eliminated from the match by HBK. So we are now approaching our final entrant number 30. This is it, the final entry into the Royal Rumble. If you've been paying attention, you may recognize who it's going to be. But this is it, number 30 to the Royal Rumble. It is, of course, Hunter himself. Triple H, the cerebral assassin, the game, is here to complete our field as the Royal Rumble now is getting very, very close to the end. So we've got another clothesline to discuss, and this one is a clothesline all the way from hell, which is bad news for Kurt Angle as he was on the receiving end, and JBL has just eliminated Kurt Angle. Huge, huge elimination there. But JBL doesn't have much time to celebrate here because it is a drop kick to the face here. That means he is going over the top rope, and Rey Mysterio has just scored himself another huge elimination Rey Mysterio looking fantastic in this match, and he has just got himself a measure of revenge over JBL, who's been getting in Rey Mysterio's face every chance on SmackDown. So a little bit of revenge here for Rey Mysterio. So here we are. We are down to our final four. So shall we just clear the field here and see what we're working with? This is it. This is our final four. To decide who will win the Royal Rumble and go to WrestleMania to challenge for one of the world titles. So we have here our common Royal Rumble trope with 4 guys in each corner of the ring, and it is Triple H now approaching Shawn Michaels cautiously and kind of offering the hand of friendship and saying, look, let's team up, get rid of these 2 guys, and then we can settle this like men. And unfortunately for Triple H, Shawn Michaels is having none of what Triple H is selling, and those 2 start brawling as Shawn Michaels gets a right hand in, and then it is Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio, the other babyface heel combo there, pairing off and brawling as well. So crowd hopefully reaching a climax here as the final 4. We want to see a winner. We want to see who's going to go to WrestleMania, and it is at this point that we have to talk about a trip. And I'm not talking about Triple H, I'm talking about the trip that JBL delivers to Rey Mysterio from the outside. So JBL puts his arm under the rope, he hooks Rey Mysterio's leg, Rey Mysterio goes down hard, and this is bad news for Rey because he had Randy Orton literally on the ropes. Remember, Randy Orton has been in there since number 8. This guy is exhausted at this point. He's been in there almost as long as Regal was. So he is really tired. Rey Mysterio had him right where he wanted him. And JBL, the sore loser that he is, has just ruined Rey Mysterio's day, tripped him up. And speaking of trips, it is Triple H who sees this, takes advantage. And unfortunately for Rey Mysterio, he is dumped. He is out of here. He is eliminated. So Rey Mysterio now hammering JBL on the outside as JBL kind of flees up the rampway. Rey Mysterio and JBL, clearly the issue between these 2 men is far from over as well. And now is Triple H trying his hand again and approaching Randy Orton and saying, look, we might hate each other, but we'll team up for now. Let us take out HBK, and then we'll settle this together like men. And Randy Orton, of course, being the heel, more than happy to accept that cowardly offer. And the 2 of them now start double teaming Shawn Michaels. The crowd are getting into this with Shawn Michaels selling his ass off, as we know he can do. Amazing babyface work here from Shawn, I'm sure. And it is Shawn Michaels now fighting for his life with whatever comeback spots he can against Triple H and Randy Orton. And then, out of nowhere, what is it but a lucky super kick? A sweet chin music. Someone has just been eliminated, and it is Triple H. Shawn Michaels' own old buddy, over the top rope he goes. Shawn Michaels got lucky here. Triple H can't believe it. He just got eliminated by his old pal. And there you have it. Triple H is out. We are down to our final 2. It is Shawn Michaels, the babyface, versus Randy Orton, the heel, to decide who will win the Royal Rumble. So the battle is on. Randy Orton and Shawn Michaels, despite Randy Orton being a bit exhausted, they are evenly matched. And they are going at it as much as they can here. And then, that is when Shawn Michaels, he gets the advantage over Randy Orton. Randy Orton is teetering. He goes over the top rope, but he hangs on. He is on the apron now, and Shawn Michaels is one super kick away, you would think, from winning this damn thing. All he needs to do is knock Randy Orton off the apron, and this match is over. But, of course, it wouldn't be that simple, would it? Because Booker T is back. He has come back. He's seen that the show is about to be stolen once again by HBK, and in his fit of jealousy, Booker T hits the ring illegally, and he has gone straight for Shawn Michaels. But to everyone's surprise, Shawn sees this coming. He's a wily veteran. He had eyes in the back of his head, and he turns around and he tees off on Booker, and it is Shawn Michaels now with the right hands, and Shawn grabs Booker in a fit of momentum. Booker can't believe what's just happened here, and Shawn Michaels tosses him again. So that is the second time, essentially, that Booker T has been eliminated for the Royal Rumble. But the bigger story is that Shawn Michaels, when he turns around, he catches, not from out of nowhere, out of somewhere, believe me, it is an RKO, the biggest RKO that Randy Orton maybe will ever deliver. It is an RKO. Shawn Michaels goes down hard. He barely knows what's hit him. Orton is up. He grabs the dazed Shawn Michaels. He tosses him over the top rope, and both feet touch the floor. HBK has been eliminated, which can only mean one thing. Your winner of the 2006 Royal Rumble, the man who will be going to WrestleMania in a title match, is none other than the legend killer himself, Randy Orton. So, let's head down to ringside to get the official word, shall we? In a decent match, it was Randy Orton, your winner of the Royal Rumble 2006, so congratulations to him. The other members of our Final Four were indeed Shawn Michaels, Triple H and Rey Mysterio, with Shawn Michaels being our runner-up on this occasion. Bobby Lashley, as we saw, got the most eliminations. William Regal took home the Iron Man Award, and there was considerable interference, being a Royal Rumble, not least of which being Mark Henry's run-in on Bobby Lashley. But the big story here is that, yes, Randy Orton has done it. He will be going to the main event of WrestleMania 22. So again, congratulations to Randy Orton for achieving that feat. Segment rating, 70 for this. So I'm sure anyone who has played TEW before will tell you that getting a good segment rating on a Battle Royale is very tricky. You've got all sorts of penalties, malices, all sorts of little things to think about when booking a match of this size and scope. And you've also got the fact that with so many different storylines crossing over here, it's like a nexus point for all these different storylines. If any of those storylines aren't fully hot, as the game considers them, then you will be suffering a negative penalty for that. So to get a 70 rating on my first major Battle Royal, our Royal Rumble here, I'm pleased with that. I'll certainly take it on this occasion, being my first attempt. But that was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. But wait, because there's more. Officials now rush into the ring as Dave Bautista arrives to get himself a piece of Randy Orton during Orton's celebration, and it is the referees, the backstage personnel, the road agents, maybe even Vince himself here, rushing out to stop Dave Bautista from brawling with Orton during his big celebration. So Dave Bautista, of course, had his celebration ruined by Randy Orton earlier, who fired the first shot in this rivalry between them. And now it's Bautista repaying the favor, coming out during Randy's celebration and attacking him. And Bautista getting a few shots in here before the referees swarm the ring, and it is a scene of utter chaos here as Royal Rumble 2006 goes off the air. The chyron appears on the screen with the copyright information. This is the scene. Royal Rumble 2006 leaves in a state of utter disarray as the World Heavyweight Champion has appeared here right at the end of the show to get himself a sliver of revenge against Randy Orton. So, what do we take away from this? You need to tune in to SmackDown. Do not miss the next episode of SmackDown. It will be the fallout from this big angle, and Randy Orton, as we said, has drawn first blood in this feud now between him and Dave Bautista, the man at the moment it looks like he could be meeting at WrestleMania 22. The road starts here to WrestleMania. This was the Royal Rumble, the beginning of that huge march to the big, legendary April show itself. It's quite a lot of pressure for your first game to have that now looming on the horizon. There is one more pay-per-view for the SmackDown brand. That will be No Way Out, but after that, all eyes will be on WrestleMania itself. Obviously, it's going to be a huge show, and we've got plenty of time to build towards it. So stay tuned. Don't miss the next few episodes. They're going to be huge in setting up this big pay-per-view that will be on the horizon very, very soon. So this was CelJaded playing Total Extreme Wrestling 2020 for Sunday, week 4 of January 2006 on the Shifting Sands mod. My name has been Alex. I hope you've enjoyed this show. It probably took more time to book this one pay-per-view than it has multiple other shows put together, such as the amount of effort that went into this. A huge amount of time to make it, hopefully, as good as it was. As we click the final button there, we get our final rating of 79. So certainly a big, big improvement on New Year's Revolution, and way above the minimum threshold we need to satisfy the broadcasters as well. And really, isn't that what wrestling is all about? Satisfying the broadcasters? I think so. So, as I said, my name has been Alex. I hope you have enjoyed this, the WWE Royal Rumble 2006 for the YouTube series of CelJaded playing TEW 2020. When we come back, it will be the next episode of Monday Night Raw and our very first episode of television for February 2006. Can you believe it? A whole month down in this series already. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought. But as always, just remember to have a good day, and I will see you next time.